A lot of people have been struggling to get out of Contender Cup this season, and mainly because they're playing the cup wrong. Due to the unique format, let's have a look at an example. You can see that it's 65 points for a win and only 1 point for a kill. So you have to be playing scrims, especially if you're struggling to get out of Contender. It's all about rotating right time and getting good positions. And setting yourself up for endgame, I recommend you land a spot, kill any people that contest your spawn, and rotate the zones, avoiding all mid-game fights unless you have a clear advantage, like a headshot snipe. Which brings me on to loadouts. There is so many stuff I recommend that your IGL carries, but these are like the main ones which you should be trying to aim for. This is like the main loadout. So you want to carry a hammer AR. It's just clear this season. It's so much better. Or you can get an Everchrome if you can upgrade it. I recommend only picking it up if you find a blue or higher. So you want either hammer or an Everchrome. They're the two best ARs this season without a doubt. And the higher rarity you can get that Everchrome, the better. Just be careful though, because if it's a stat game, you want to take a hammer, as the Everchrome is so bad for getting Surge. So just have a look at the players and try and predict if it's going to be a WK game or a passive game. You then want a shotgun. Well, to be fair, shotgun's a bit more preference. I do not recommend you taking, I think it's called the Ranger shotgun, the one with one bullet in. I recommend either the prime shotgun or the leather shotgun, whatever you think's best. I personally quite like the prime shotgun, but if I see a purple or gold leather, I'm not going to turn it down realistically. Then you want 2 sets of meds and either chromes or pads, and your fragger ideally wants a bit more of a W key loadout with the hammer, shotgun, then it's a sniper. You need to be taking snipers. They're really important. They flip fights. It is just super meta this season. So good for Surge, especially for the headshot snipes as well. You can instantly knock someone, key them, and get a nice little refresh. The amount of times in this cup I managed to pick up really nice, easy refreshes because my teammates been able to snipe one is unbelievable. It's also great to get Surge as well, especially in my last game we needed to get, I think it was something like 1,000 Surge or just a ridiculous amount in Surge, and the sniper was massively helpful for me getting Surge. Then they want either pads or chromes. One of you should have pads and the other should have chromes. This is what you need to communicate. You need to ask them, what would you prefer to take? Would you prefer to take chromes or would you prefer to take pads? Because some people really just hate taking chromes, like they just don't know when to use them, they just don't like them. I personally quite like taking chromes, but that's something for you to communicate between the two of you and realize what's going to be better for each of your playstyles and what you're going to prefer. And it's super important that you both have at least one, because let's say the IGL has all the rotation and the IGL gets headshot sniped, then that means your duo's left there with a load of meds, no rotation at all to try and clutch with. And we can flip that the other way as well. If your fragger has loads of meds and you've got loads of rotation, that means you're going to endgame if he gets headshot sniped with no meds at all and just a bunch of rotation, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but no meds, it is kind of hard to clutch without. Then you want to finish off with 1 set of meds if you're the fragger. Ideally splashes, because they're just easy to pop and they're just convenient. They do white, blue health, they give you everything. So that's ideally what you want to be having. If you don't have a meta loadout, then you will just struggle. There's times where I've seen pro players have like really good loadouts, or people that are good and they're just not meta loadouts. And the problem with this is it's just so hard to be able to try and do well. Even if it's a good loadout, you could have like a gold ranger, a gold SMG, but if it's just not meta, it's just not gonna work. Also, talking about SMGs, they're just not it this season. Don't take SMGs, it's just not worth it. Off spawn, they're good obviously to pressure people, but endgame, you preferably want to be getting yourself some sort of rotation, meds, and you want an AR over SMG, especially when it comes to Surge. A lot of the time with an SMG, you're gonna miss out on so many kills as well. I've noticed this when my duo picks up an SMG endgame and they're trying to hit people for 6. It's so hard to like communicate different plays when you're trying to break walls and things like that. So just make sure you're sticking to an AR. When I've played this cup, it's better just to play safe than it is to full W key, because all you need is 6 solid good end games, and have a 10th place is a solid placement in this cup. So even though you think like a 10th, 11th, 12th place is bad, it's like what, 30 points or something to get this. So it's actually much better than you think it is. And there's a reason why a lot of you might be struggling this season, and even I was playing this wrong myself. I think there's one tournament where I had like over 80 kills or something and didn't qual. It's because I'm just W keying. There's no point to W key in this cup. It's obviously important to get kills, don't get me wrong, don't full get no kills at all, but just think about it this way. Is it worth going for a kill mid-game after you've already spent 10-15 minutes in a game, or is it better just to play for placement, get to end game and get an extra 20, 30, 40 points even, depending on how stacked your game is? Now, when I talk about drop spots, I recommend that you land edge map over somewhere like coney or tilted, which is mid, as it's going to be so hard for you to qual when you're trying to rotate through mid. And getting griefs on rotates, I recommend you land edge. Rotate dead side as its contender, as well as there's a lot of brain dead players, especially on the W key side of the zone. So when you go through mid, you're going to find so many just like really bad contender players going through. They're going to fight you, and because you know all these brain dead contender players who you fighting, you're just going to get more and more people. You're going to get 4th partied, 5th partied, 6th partied, and before you know it, you're back to the lobby. You've waited 10 minutes. So I really recommend that you stick to edge map. Use the balloons. I think they added tornadoes as well in comp recently to like the boost you up, which are great for rotate. So I recommend landing somewhere edge and rotating around edge nice and early. Try and avoid mid map as much as possible, like unless you're going to box up, but just try and avoid rotating through it, because so many people have been doing it, and trust me, it's not worth it. You're gonna get into so many brain dead players that just don't know how to play it, especially in contender. So stick to edge. Now we're going to move over to the points. It's 310 points to qual on EU. It's a little bit less than other regions. I think it's like 290 or 280 or something on NA, somewhere around there, which is fairly easy to get. You'll need to get roughly around about 2 wins really to qualify. It's not impossible. A lot of people have done it with 1 or 0 wins, but if you're going for more of the passive approach, which I do recommend, you need to be trying to get 2 wins, because that 130 points you'll also have at least what, 5 kills minimum. So you get 130 for the 2 wins plus the 10 kills. If you go into win a game just in like refreshes end zone, you're roughly going to get about 5 points if you're not playing too aggressive. So you'll be on 140 points alone from those 2 wins, meaning from there all you have to do is get 170 points, which is fairly easy to get if you're just consistent, and you'll have around 7 games roughly based off how well you're doing, how many games you can play out. When you started, it's extra to hit that, which is not hard at all. It's like what, 4 solid end games I think I said it would be to qual. So Contender Cup is definitely easy to qualify out of. It's just you need to be making sure you're playing it right and playing scrims every single day to get your end games as good as you can. VOD review constantly, VOD review, VOD review, VOD review, especially if you're an IGL. If you're the IGL of your 2, you need to be VOD reviewing every single rotate you take damage. Because every time as an IGL you rotate and take damage, you've made some sort of mistake. So just have a look over, see what you can do better, improve constantly. Just look to get your points better and better each time. So if you got 250 points last tournament, aim for 260, 270, 280. Just keep going forward, keep getting better, keep improving. I wish you guys good luck in your next Contender Cup. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. If you did find it helpful, smash a like. If we get 50 likes by Monday, I'll give away 1,000 V-Bucks to someone who comments nice down below. If you enjoyed this, you'll probably also enjoy my last video, how to master off spawn in Fortnite, and you can watch that by clicking on screen now.